Good afternoon, at least in my time zone. My name is Alun, and this afternoon I'm facilitating a session, the first of four, of Demigods. Demigods was recently kickstarted. It's currently in its second iteration of Quickstart from Jason Mills. We're expecting the final product in the new year. This is a game of, I liken it to, I guess, the best of some of the media touchstones for this. So American Gods is the obvious place to go, by Neil Gaiman. But also I have to say, I was very fond of Scion some years ago, so I'm probably drawing something from that. I never played it much, never much liked the system, so I'm hoping to scratch my Scion itch with Demigods. So the concept. The concept of this game and the setup for the game, I guess, is that the gods, the mythological gods, exist. And in order to influence mortals and earthly affairs, they can't directly intervene. Instead, they have to rely on humans somehow empowered, imbued with aspects of a divine parent. Now, that could be through just direct adoption. It could be almost channeling aspects of the gods, or it could be through biology. Who knows? In order to create an emissary on Earth, a demigod in the terms of the game, and this demigod, of course, always does what their parent wants and needs them to do. To play a demigod of one of those many pantheons that have been worshipped, the players have chosen one of a range of different playbooks because this is a PBTA game, and we're going to see where that takes us. This game is organised as part of the Gauntlet RPG community's online calendar of games, where you'll find hundreds of games being played every month. Mostly indie, non-trad kind of games, and you'll find those at the website. If you search Gauntlet, you will find it, and you will find great players like these and great games to join. So that's the concept of the game. That's the introduction. Can I move on now and ask the players to introduce themselves briefly, and just tell us something briefly about the character that they're going to be playing this afternoon, starting with Eli. Would you introduce yourself and tell us about Astid? Sure,
I'm Eli. You can find me on the internet at Eli's Sites, SCITZ, on Twitter and on itch.io, where I have some games and more in the coming year. And today I'm playing Astid. Astid is the Arcane playbook and is a scion of Freya from the Norse pantheon, and she's in her late 20s and has known about the pantheon since an early age and doesn't really enjoy their meddling and kind of wants to get on with her own life and is quite annoyed when her mom hits her up for doing various tasks.
Thank you for that. Moving on, Sabine, tell us about Dave Deth. Oh, introduce yourself and tell us about Dave Deth.
Okay, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm going to play Dave. Dave Deth uses he, him pronouns. Dave is a child of Hel, the Norse goddess of the halls of the dead, or unless they died in glorious battle. Everybody else goes to her. Okay. I guess he arrived, I think, as a foundling and has lived with his father for a while now. He kind of looks like him a bit, so that's fine. His name on the passport is David, and he has a second first name I have to find out now. But he is a heavy metal musician, and thus he uses Dave Deth. Death without an A, but Dave with an A, so it's complicated.
Thank you for that. We look forward to hearing more about Dave Deth. Ludo, say hello and tell us about Livia Aurea.
Hello, I'm Ludo. I go by Owl, and I'll be playing our warrior, which is a demigod of the goddess Palaestra, the goddess of wrestling. And Livia Aurea is a wrestler that the current identity that they go now is the Golden Lily. And they don't care much about divine meddling and affairs and whatnot. They are instead focused on her extended mortal family, by which she means the caravan of the stable of wrestlers that she's always moving around from, from promotion to promotion, from show to show. And they are utterly devoted to protect them and the weave, which they also see as a family of sorts.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks for introducing the phrase weave. The weave is the term that the game gives to the group of characters. So all four of these characters are members of the same weave. We'll discover how they came to be a weave shortly. Finally, tell us, Rob, introduce yourself and tell us about Sophie Fox, Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Sophie Fox. She is the daughter of Loki, the god of trickery. She's a detective for, I don't know where we're basing it, but she'd be detective for the local police anyway. And basically, she discovered early in her career that one of the cases she was given a tip off about was actually some sort of divine problem that Loki had set her basically to deal with, and that's kind of what their relationship's been like, with good old dad is presenting challenges for me to solve every now and then.
As if he's testing you.
Yeah.
Okay. That gives us a flavour. In terms of just filling in some of the gaps around the setting, I started off setting this in the Black Forest, and then I moved it to the North Yorkshire moors. But this, we'll start the session by travelling to Devon, but we'll worry about that in a bit. Now, the aim, I guess, if I follow the cat's process, we've had the concept. The aim really is to troubleshoot. Once the characters have fleshed out the characters, we'll talk about how they've come together and what it is that has brought them together, the spindle at the center of this weave. And I suppose important things to note about the setting is that the supernatural is generally invisible to mortals. The brains of mortals simply can't deal with this kind of stuff. And so most mortals, unless they are regularly in contact with the supernatural, will just excuse. The example in the book is that, when a 7-foot-tall demon walks into a coffee shop, the barista can convince herself that it's just a very tall lady, ignoring the blue skin, horns, and spiky tail. So and we'll discuss this as we play, the degree to which the supernatural nature of our demigod characters is apparent in the world, or how they look when they invoke the powers that they've been given by their divine parent. We'll talk about that as we go. So the aim, we will start today by troubleshooting a problem that the gods will bring the weave, and then we'll play to find out where we go from that. As I've hinted, my touchstones are Scion, the tabletop role-playing game setting from White Wolf, and American Gods by Neil Gaiman, now a TV series. The tone for me is adult rather than gonzo. There are likely to be the lives and well-being of innocents at risk, as well as the reputations of characters' divine parents. So yeah, I'm going for something that is reasonably serious. We'll be playing in a setting where gods and supernatural monsters are real, so it's possible that occult and horror themes may be encountered. We know that we're going to encounter the supernatural, there's no question about that. And for this reason, we'll be careful to use the safety tools espoused by the Gauntlet community. We'll be playing with the X card, and I will just ask the players to put their thumbs up if they're familiar with the way the X card works. Yeah, I've played with almost all of you, so I was fairly confident about the answer to that question. We're playing with an open door, so if something does crop up, and one of the players needs to step away for whatever reason, no questions asked, walk away. We'd love to have you back, but if, message us to say if you can't get back. And we'll be using the draft Gauntlet Code of Conduct as our kind of frame for making sure that we're all on the same page and we're all here to have fun, and we'll have fun. We'll also be playing with lines and veils. My starting lines, which we won't see in the fiction, are sexual violence and violence against children. And as I've explained to the players beforehand, I'm also not comfortable navigating the treacherous terrain of faith or belief or observance of real-world religions. So all the divine parents that we're talking about here, all the pantheons that we're talking about, are from mythological or fictional sources. Now, if there are any more lines anyone wants to add, I'd ask them simply to edit that cell anonymously in the character keeper, and we'll add those into our play. We'll also be playing with veils, which they may occur in the fiction, but at the point they do, will fade to black. And my starters for those two are sex and torture. So again, if there's any veil you want to add into that, we'll hopefully it will still allow us to play the camp game we've set up to play, but add them in there and we'll check them out. So with all that in mind, then let's just make a start. Can I just ask a couple of questions of each of the characters, just to help me flesh out something that's going on here? So Astrid, you found out that you were the child of Freya at the age of 8. Do you want to give us some flavor of that event?
Yeah, it was about the time that I started really reading books. And then it was about that time that I also, as I was reading books, and then kept reading and learning to read, and then suddenly all of the books were there, and I went into the foreign language section, and that those books also made sense, and eventually, kind of through library research, hit a book on Norse mythology, and kind of worked some of it out for myself, and then Freya kind of dropped a note in there in one of those books for me.
So you found a note in a book that said, what? Well, how does a divine parent do this in writing?
I don't think that they fully revealed to an 8-year-old that, like, oh, hey, I'm your mom. But it was like, oh, there's a connection here. And then it kind of like teased out. And I don't know if I fully made the full connection and understood all of the ramifications until later, probably my late teens. But since the age of 8, I always kind of knew that there's something else going on, that this isn't just completely normal.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving along, Dave. Now you found out about your imbued powers at the end of your 20s. Just give me a quick sketch of how that went.
Oh wait, the age I knew, I think that was actually earlier. I had no idea what that actually meant. So I'll put in that this started around when I was 12, and I started seeing dead people. Like, hey, that fox. Okay, weird, cool.
Oh wow! So the 12-year-old, I'm just imagining he's at school. Did he tell anybody about this?
Yeah, right. No, of course not. I mean, suddenly the teacher who died of a heart attack last month walks in, and we were all at his funeral, but he walks in and starts teaching the class and correcting the teacher, the temp teacher. So no, I'm not saying anything about that. That was weird.
So, so you don't tell anybody about this.
No.
What effect does that have in terms of the friendships that Dave makes as a child?
Well, I think Dave was pretty much of a loner at that point anyway, because he was interested in death even before he started seeing things, and also he was that weird foundling, and he listened to weird music, and he was generally seen as a pretty weird kid, and hanging out with dead people kind of made sense for him then.
And now he's a death metal musician. Does he make a living doing that, or does he just aspire to make a living doing that?
I think he has a band or something like that. He makes his living, I think, as a... what does he do? Maybe he's a kind of a cabbie. Yeah, he drives a cab.
Okay, thank you for that. Cabbie. And is he still living at home with his father or his adopted father, his mortal parent?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. He lives with his father and always has to listen to his father complain about him driving a cab. Why doesn't he go to school? Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he do this? His father, I think, is an architect, and he's pretty disappointed at his lazy-ass son.
And so presumably he knows nothing about the divine parent thing.
Oh, he does. Yeah, sure. I mean, there was this Norse fellow who once told him, "Hail, son of hail," and that was weird anyway. But I think that's how he got into the whole death metal stuff, because he wanted to find out a little more about Norse mythology, and he kind of liked the music, and he drifted into this epic metal, and he always wanted to go to Norway to be there, right? And I think he's never really met his mother. She isn't very social, I guess, or maybe she is and he has met her and he doesn't know it. Who knows? She wrote a note that when he was found, that was like, "Here, this is my kid. You may not remember how he came to be, but you're his father. Take care of him." So.
Oh. Right, very straight up and down from hell. Okay, thank you for that. Livia, Livia, do you want to be known as Golden Lily or Livia? What's your favored? How do you want people to address? How do people address you?
I mean, people will probably address as Livia. I mean, Golden Lily is for the show. It's the character. So yeah.
Okay, so it says you found out in your mid-30s. Do you want to tell us how that happened? Because you were told by Hermes, weren't you?
Yeah, basically, it was after one of my moms retired from pro wrestling, and I kind of was expected. I was doing promotions for another gym, and I was supposed to take over, and I was tricked by Hermes to move to the other side of the ocean. And only when I was here, I learned that the promoter was a literal messenger trickster god, and also my grandfather that had conned me to risk the livelihood of my entire stable and family, just so I could be conveniently manipulated. As you can imagine, I'm not very endeared to gods after that.
Yeah, so that explains the alienation, I guess. So do you not have much contact with the Pantheon then?
It's when Hermes needs something. He always manage on his own smug, smarmy, trickster way to let me know. And I still have not even talked with my supposed mother. So I don't even have contact with Palaestra or any of the other Hellenic theory.
So has Hermes told you that Palaestra is your mother, or are you just concluding that?
Hermes told me.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on, Sophie. tell us a bit about, you found out in your mid-20s through this kind of tip-off. Just flesh that out a bit for us, would you?
So I think there was she was investigating a gang with that had been displaying unusual abilities, and she got a tip off to go investigate a tattoo parlor. Where it turns out this gang had been getting very special tattoos, which were like magical runes, which they were using to gain power. And that was basically a setup by Loki to shut that down because I don't know, he didn't want them to have those, or he just thought it would be an interesting challenge. Who knows?
Well, I think Odin's always been very picky about who he gives runes to, and my guess is that Loki would feel likewise. You know, you can't trust mortals with runes; it's madness, surely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said that she's a detective, private or with the police?
I think formerly with the police, and at this point has probably had to leave the service because too many strange things keep happening to her.
Fine. Okay. I'm just wondering, before we get into spindle and weave, it's 10 to the hour. I wonder if we take a slightly early break and then come back on the hour to get on with spindle and binding and weave. Does that seem reasonable? Because I've got a fair idea of what you're about now. Okay, so back on the hour, guys. See you then. Oh, I can answer the question about Loki and fire. In the original Eddas, Loki is a fire spirit captured by Odin.
No.
No?
Loki is not a fire spirit captured by Odin. Loki is the son of a giantess, which is Loki, which is why he's known as Loki, Loki's son. He's not a fire. There is a fire spirit in the Edda, but it is Loki. That is a different one.
Ah, well, there you go. I must read more carefully.
Sorry.
I think it's actually contamination, because it's on the Eddas that were written after contact with the Catholics. So there was a cross-contamination there, I think.
Yeah, Snorri, who wrote the Edda, was a monk. And that's why a lot of this seems to be influenced quite a bit by the Roman and the Greek pantheon. And there is no real original to this, but Loki is not a fire spirit. He's a trickster spirit, and the name I've read. No, I won't. I will stop now.
Well, I did warn you all. This is not my specialist subject. We'll give Rob a minute.
The real question, though, Sabine, is, did Loki have an affair with a horse, like it said in that diagram I found?
Yes, he had an affair. The name of the horse was Svathifari or something like that, because everything in Norse legend has a name. I mean, Hale's chamber pot has a name, I think, and it's recorded so that everybody knows. Yeah, but it's a lot. Can I tell the story? Because while we're waiting for Rob?
While we're waiting for Rob, tell the story.
Okay, so there was this giant that Loki knew, and he said to the other Aesir, "Hey, this giant can build us a great wall." It was kind of like Trump, really. So he promised that the giant. No, wait, there was a bet, right? There was this bet that the giant couldn't build the wall. The giant said he could build the wall. And the giant said, "Yeah, I can build this, totally can build this wall." And it looked like, yeah, there was this bet that he couldn't, and Loki had bet that he couldn't, and then the giant was building this wall, and he was really fast because he had this amazing horse that would drag all the stones around. So Loki, when it looked like, oh my god, I'm going to lose the bet, Loki turned into a mare and distracted the horse, because that horse wanted to be with the mare more than he wanted to build the wall. And so the giant lost, Loki won, and that's how Sleipnir came to be. Hi.
Okay, so yes, where am I at? Yes, that's where I'm at. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back 12 or 18 months before today in game time. What we need to do is to identify, well, as it says in the rules, the spindle. The spindle is the same thing for all the characters. As a group, decide on what that person, place, or thing is. Then decide individually how you were connected to it before you became a weave. So I'm open to suggestions. You have to come up with something that you could all reasonably have been connected to before you knew one another. Any suggestions?
Some sort of club, maybe big club where they had concerts and wrestling events and stuff like that.
An arena, conceivably. Just to help you with this, the other questions I'll then ask you is: your spindle was facing a supernatural disaster, but you saved it. What did you save it from? There was substantial collateral damage, blah, blah, blah. So it needs to be something that could have some supernatural significance. Let's work our way across. Astrid, what do you think? What do you think? We've got the suggestion of some kind of venue.
Yeah. Yeah, do we want it to be a place, like a physical location?
That was the initial suggestion. So maybe the way to do it is to start with the idea of is it a person, place, or thing? So far we've got Dave Deth putting some kind of venue you could all have been connected to on the table. Anyone got an alternative to a place? Anyone want to come up with a thing or a person? Okay, so the nature of this venue then, would it be helpful if you told us what connection you want to have to the venue and defined it by the things that you know it for? So let's start the other end of the character keeper and ask Sophie, what connection would you want to have had to this venue?
I think somewhere that is it somewhere I go to, like maybe it's a sports venue that I go to watch whatever is on there.
Well, do you want to? Because what I'm writing at the moment is a venue where Sophie went to watch. ...
Let's call it wrestling.
Okay. Let's not make this too complicated. So went to watch wrestling. Livia, what's your connection with the venue?
I think I did not care much about this place until I spent time on the venue, and after that I started to see this place as my home too. I started saying, yeah, I can find this as my home.
So where Livia performed and now considers, inverted commas, home. Is that a reasonable summary?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to come back to Dave for detail because Dave gave us venue. So I'm going to go to Eli and ask why you went to this venue.
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit beyond just the same that went to go see an event and like picked up on some weird things going on when I was there. So
a wrestling event or so, because you could have had a relationship with it across time beforehand. So are you a regular at the wrestling? Or do you go to see other things there?
I think that I go mostly more to see like musical events that happen because the venue needs to make money, so they kind of use it for whatever show is coming through town.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Poetry slams is fun. They have a regular poetry slam. That's the event that Astrid goes to regularly.
Okay. Well, that's a great mix of clientele. I can see coming out of that. So this is where Astrid went to see poetry slams. Dave, what did you go to see there? Or what was your connection?
I think I go there for the poetry slams as well, but to see them and to perform because, poetry slams, rap battles, death metal music, that's all kind of the same thing in a way, right? You have to use words to wrestle with each other.
What I'm writing down is where Dave goes to perform death metal poetry. Yeah? Because I understand that all death metal is poetic, but these are particularly sharp examples of that. Okay. So that's what we're talking about.
Okay. I just want to amend my what the event that Sophie goes to see is basically the only place that gets regular live events of a popular podcast that she listens to.
So went to see podcasts. Do you, and I, of course, I am going to ask you, what is her podcast of choice, or what kind of?
I need to think of a name that isn't the one I'm thinking of.
Well, we'll come back to you. It's not a problem. Mull on it. I've written down went to see live podcasts. That's fine. Let's go round. Let's go the other way. Let's go to let's go to Astrid, and ask Astrid, what is the venue called?
Not sure if we have a name. No name that's popping right into my head.
Well, I'll come back. I'll leave that. I'll leave that one. Mull it over. I will go to Livia though, and ask, what's the front of the what kind of what does it look like architecturally? You know, I'm going to assume this is in London because it's just simpler that way. So you have a free reign on what it looks like. You know, is this well, you tell me.
I'm tempted to say that it's a modern-looking monstrosity because I'm thinking modern London, but not to offend the eyes. I'm going to say that it's going to be. It looks like an old trading house from the Regency period.
Yeah, right. So it's an old Regency trading house of some description. Fine. No, I like that. So, and based on that, what's the most distinctive feature of the front of it, Livia? Because you've got this in your head now.
I would say that there is to be a space for a counting house and stables in the front. That now it became this quite private park where when some events are happening, they can happen there instead of within the trading house proper. And it has this very intricate late addition to the house, this Art Deco ironwork all around the garden.
So that would allow for open air performance as well as, yeah, fine. So what I'm going to suggest is that it was originally a Regency trading house. It then was colonized and people lived in it. Because that would allow us to keep that open space in front of it. And now it's this venue I'm seeing not just one large auditorium, but a very large ballroom in which, or what was then the trading floor, in which big events go on, but scattered around it, there are smaller rooms, smaller events. Okay. Events. Okay. So that's a distinctive feature of it. Where have I got to? I've forgotten which way I'm going. I think I missed Dave. Dave, what's the downside of this venue?
Downside. I think let me think a bit. I guess it's a bit remote, maybe. There's no underground that goes there or anywhere near it, and you have to drive there, but the parking space is limited. They have no parking lot, so people have to park on the street, and then the people who live there start complaining because there are always these cars, and there are lots of polite notices telling you not to park your bike there. By which I mean the London polite notices, like, polite notice, don't park your bike here, it will be eliminated.
Fine. Do we have a name, Astrid?
I think that the most recent owners thought that they were tongue-in-cheek and called it Valhalla on Earth.
Valhalla on Earth. Okay. And yeah, did we come up with a name for that podcast, Sophie?
The Evendale Report.
And because I'm beginning to think that this might be local authority or council sponsored, so it's relative. So it's quite well equipped. Is this why the Evendale Report use it as their kind of studio?
Yeah. I think it's a sort of dramatic. It's a sort of drama thing about strange cases, and I think some of the local police are actually involved in it, like the ones that are more interested in like creative endeavors get involved. So
I'm summarizing that as the Evendale Report, an X-Files sort of podcast. Does that do?
Yeah, I'm thinking of it as like the true crime version of Welcome to Night Vale.
Okay, yeah. So it's a true bracket but odd crime podcast. Yeah, the stuff that doesn't quite fit in the normal police forms. Okay. Okay, that gives me a really good sense of Valhalla on Earth. Whoops-a-daisy, hang on. So, Valhalla on Earth, this is now 12 or 18 months ago. So, Valhalla on Earth is facing a supernatural disaster. But you saved it, yeah? So, starting question, where have I not started yet? I don't think I've started with Livia. So, Livia, what did you save it from?
Oh, I will say that that one of the old enemies of the Aesir was obsessed with destroying Valhalla and thought that that hitting this simulacrum on Earth would be a way to do it. And you're muted.
There we are. So you saved it from an old enemy of the Aesir. I'm going to go to Dave and ask whether Dave wants to add any detail in terms of the nature of that old enemy.
Yeah, I think it was some kind of a frost giant or half frost giant, who knows? Maybe half frost giant who thought, hey, wait, Valhalla, hey, he probably was drunk. I think he was drunk when he did that.
So someone with frost powers then. Okay, which does sound a little bit like, inverted commas, evil demigod, ... Well, a demigod with a different perspective. Okay, let's go next to, let's keep going that way and go to Astrid. There was substantial collateral damage, Astrid. What was destroyed? And how did you make it look less supernatural in nature?
I think that it was just generally like, so we have this angry demigod, and I think it was mostly a lot of like physical damage, so just like blowing through walls and brick and mortar and everywhere. And I think that we made it look like construction afterwards, that it's just like, nope, this is just the renovation. It'll be better than ever after it's done.
What was going on at the venue when this kicked off, Sophie?
I think it was. I think it was a concert.
Livia, it was a concert. Where were you? Why were you at the venue on the night of a concert?
I was not. I was touring on the north of England, but I was warned that there was trouble at the venue, and I managed to come right in at the last moment.
Let me guess who warned you. Was it by any chance a slightly slimy individual called Hermes?
Yes, of course it was.
Okay, so Livia was touring but returned after a warning from Hermes. Where have I got to? Keep go. Which way am I going? I've lost track of which way I'm going. Let me go next to Dave. Dave, why were you at the venue on the night?
I was playing the concert, of course.
Oh, top bill or further down?
Maybe we were the what's the name of the supporting act, I guess, the guys who start warming up the crowd, like for the main event. That's what we do. That's what we were doing. But maybe our band has a name that is offensive to the ear tone, so who knows?
Okay, so Dave was playing as the support act. Okay. Astrid, what were you doing there that night?
I think that Astrid is just going to the concert.
Okay. And finally, Sophie, why were you there?
I think I got tickets delivered to my door for the event, for the concert, and I'm like, well, I didn't order any tickets. I don't even like this kind. Oh, right. And there was probably some sort of pun in the name of the company that sent the tickets. That was like, okay, fucking Loki. Okay.
Okay, so there were walls damaged. Was this where have I got to? Let me go back round because this was your idea, Astrid. So the damage that was done, not just by the demigod, but by the four of you trying to put this, this disturbance to sleep. Did it go on in the main concert hall or elsewhere? Because I like your idea that then signs appeared saying renovation after the event, but I'm just wanting to pin down how you managed to make taking down this demigod of frost happen without loads of people noticing.
I think that it kind of went on. It started in the main concert hall, and then we moved it to other parts, and then it was just like, wow, this show has a much bigger special effects budget than we thought it would. This is very cool.
Okay, started in the auditorium, then you moved it. What a special effects budget. Okay. Okay. Now, you earn the favor of let me come at this. I want to do it the other way around. You angered a divine being, Dave. Who was it? Oh, now you're muted.
I know I'm muted. I'm just talking myself through to finding the right tab and then clicking on the unmute button. Sorry, I'm babbling. We angered a divine being. I think we angered probably the frost giants because they. I mean, maybe it wasn't so very diplomatic to call my band Emir's death or Emir's head. Yes, that's not. No, yeah. Well, maybe I should have thought about that more, but I guess. Well.
Okay, so you angered the frost giants, and sorry, wrong line. Bear with me. So you angered the frost giants, and so did they have? They need to have something against the spindle. Now I can see that your band name might be a trigger for them, but what did they have against Valhalla on Earth, of any?
I mean, come on, they're frost giants. They don't like things called Valhalla, and also they might be a bit petty about the whole thing. Like, yes, no, is this Ragnarok now? Wait, wasn't Loki supposed to be on our side? What's going on there? I don't care. We'll just smash it. Let's drink some beer.
So this was a symbol of the real Valhalla, yeah, and they might even have thought it would have some longer term effect. Okay, you earned the favor of a major divine being. Where am I going? That way, I think. Livia, you earned the favor of a major divine being. Who was it, and why did they want to save Valhalla on Earth?
It was complicated, as everything with grandfather is, and the divine being that actually has interest on this is Cetalin of the Fomorians, that somehow Valhalla is important for the Fomorians, and they feel like they own one to us. And for some reason, Hermes was helping the Fomorians.
And presumably we've no idea why he was wanting.
No.
Why Hermes was helping. Okay. There is a last question. This is, why was your spindle targeted for this? I think you kind of answered that in having angered the frost giants. They wanted to destroy a symbol of the real Valhalla. I'm just going to say, in the hope that the real Valhalla would suffer. Does that seem fair? Okay. Okay. So all four of you were at the concert that night for one reason or another. And this is what brought you together. Now, there are a set of questions, and I can't honestly remember if I put them in the... Oh, yes, I think I did. Okay, there are a set of questions that are called tangles. And you'll find about halfway down the character keeper a heading called tangles. It should have... Oh, goodness me, it has. It has copied in the other characters' names, I hope accurately. And so what I want to do is I'm going to start on the far left again with Astrid. I want you to pick a tangle with Dave Deth.
Okay. So, Dave, are you all right if I pick... Let's see. Oh, there's so many good ones. I think that maybe that Would you be all right if I give you? They don't get what you do, but at least they're pretty.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't get what you do. You're a cop, right? But at least you're pretty, right?
Yeah,
I
I'm on the other side.
Oh,
I'm not a cop.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry. Then I don't get what you do because I don't even know what you do. So that's fine.
Well, just to set us up here, what the event at the Spindle at the venue did was you displayed your powers to one another. So you do know what one another do, but that doesn't mean you get it. Yeah?
No, I don't get it.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, moving along. Dave, let's not I can't remember. Yeah, let's not go back at Astrid yet. Let's go to Livia. Cool. What tangle do you want to offer Livia?
Let me look at my tangles. They're all very death related. No. I think I would like to have a vision of Livia's death. If that's okay with you, Ludo.
Very fitting.
Okay. So I can describe how, but not when or where, obviously. And I think what I have of your death is that you were very surprised. There was this did not happen in a fight. You were surprised and struck down and by something you did not expect. I couldn't see what. But if you were a Viking, you would then not go to Valhalla, which is kind of sad, or maybe not. Who knows?
Can you make a note of that, Livia, down in your notes, just for our mutual benefit later on in this series, perhaps? Who knows? Moving on then to Livia herself. Let's have you pick a tangle for Sophie.
I think if Rob is okay, I'm gonna pick that Livia feels drawn to Sophie, and they don't can explain why, but they seem that there is some manipulation of fate that is pulling them together, and she feels closer to Sophie than the others in a way that she cannot explain.
Okay, well, hit the drop down and make that selection. And was there enough in that why, Rob, for you to put something in your notes at the bottom? Or do you have any questions for Livia?
I don't think there's any questions. It's just that you have a feeling that you're being drawn to me for some reason. Yeah. So.
By the webs of fate. Okay, and then moving on to Sophie. Do you want to pick a tangle with Astrid?
Astrid. Yeah. So I know the secret Astrid keeps in their heart.
Oh, went the crowd.
Oh.
Comfortable with Astrid?
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Do we get to define that at all, or is that just ...
It doesn't say anything on the playbook about it.
No,
so
fine.
I guess that we just discuss it, or maybe something comes up during play.
That's fine. That's fine. I didn't know if there was a what at the end of that sentence. So right, hit the drop down and select that tangle, and then we'll head around to Astrid again and ask you to pick a tangle with Livia.
Sure. I think for Livia, I'm going to choose you fought supernatural shoulder to shoulder and trust them explicitly. Just something about Livia is trustworthy after that event that we had.
Is that the demigod frost giant, or is there something else that you've done together, Astrid?
I don't know. I think it was the frost giant, but it could be something else if there's something else that sounds cool.
Any options, Livia? You want to throw anything else in, or are you going to settle for the frost giant?
I kind of want to fight some kind of dragon or weird questing beast-like creature.
Oh, sure.
Okay, the questing beast of Hyde Park.
Yeah, but I think that we took that down together.
Okay, so make a note of that, one of you, in your notes at the bottom, just for reference, in case I have an opportunity to bring some other questing beast into the series. Right, Dave. Next up, pick a tangle with Sophie.
Okay, let's see. Pick a tangle. Oh no, sorry. Where are you? This is complicated. Reaper. Ooh.
I don't like the sound of that. Ooh.
Yeah, I have lots of stuff with they are dead now and they are not dead and somebody else is dead. So this is very death focused. It's nice because I'm a Reaper. I think I like that one. I bartered with another Reaper for their life and won. How did they die that time?
Sophie, you were almost reaped. Is that a verb, to reap?
Yeah.
It must be, mustn't it?
It's your language.
I know, and well, I always claim it's my second language, you know. But Sophie, how did Sophie die that time?
I think Sophie isn't generally the most combat focused, so I think maybe she got flung by the frost giant guy in the arena and broke her neck.
Okay, and so presumably some frost giant opposite of hell turned up to collect Sophie. Okay, so you won the argument. Well done, Dave. Moving along.
I have a question. Does Sophie know that her neck was broken, or does she just think, "Oh, that was lucky that I got up"?
I don't think she knows.
Okay. Oh, yes, neck is stiff for some reason. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Just trap nerve. Okay. Moving along. Livia, would you like to pick a tangle for Astrid?
I think Livia never actually seen them fight, and they are not quite sure if they can trust Astrid.
That's fair. In what I envisioned, that I don't think Astrid is as much of a, certainly not as much a fighter as Livia, but maybe not as much as the other ones, and as much more the I'll figure out what's going on and tell you guys how to beat it kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, the wrestler and the scholar. Fine. So moving on then. So Livia's chosen that one. That means Sophie, pick a tangle with Dave.
The obvious one is Dave has seen you at your worst, disheveled and confused.
What circumstances?
I don't want to. Yeah, coming back from the dead is kind of disorienting.
Right. So right. So does that tell? I'm just wanting to enrich the fiction a bit here. Does that mean that when Dave does his Reaper stuff, there's something changes about his appearance or the perception of people around him, so he looks more frazzled or something? I'm just putting that on the table.
No. Dave has seen me at my.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bedraggled in melting ice, conceivably. Yeah. I misunderstood. Okay. Got that one down. Rolling around to Astrid. Pick a tangle with Sophie.
Yes, I think that have a grudging respect for their skills. But kind of, you grow up around the Norse pantheon, you hear a lot of things about Loki, but like, Sophie can get things done.
Okay, go for that if Sophie's okay with that. Yeah. Okay. And then Dave, what about you and Astrid?
Oh, me and Astrid. I think I have a perfect one for Astrid. I have feelings for them, but haven't made my move yet. If that's okay with you.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Just as well that Astrid thinks you're pretty.
I am pretty.
And then Livia, what about your tangle with Dave?
I think it could be fun if Livia has a friendly rivalry with them, and they always keep trying to one-up each other because they are both performers.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. While I remember, Dave, you've seen the vision of Livia's death, this surprise death, not in a fight. Does Livia know that you've seen that vision?
I don't think so.
Okay, I mean, so you haven't shared that yet.
Not yet. I think that's best done when we're playing.
Okay. Livia, you've just done Dave. That means that Sophie. Sophie, did you do Dave? Have I missed one out?
I don't think I've done one for Livia yet.
Okay, I'm not seeing one next to Dave either.
Oh, right, yeah. Where's that? Yeah. Yeah, I've added it.
So then there we are. Then go on and pick a tangle for Livia.
Someone in Livia's pantheon is plotting against them, but I don't know all the details.
Oh, plotting against Livia. That works because there's quite a tricky relationship going on there, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, that's quite a sharp one. Yeah, like that one. Okay. So you all have one. Whoops. I think we already, there's, why you cared about the spindle. I think that's self-evident from what we filled in about the spindle. So I don't think we need to put it here. It's on the other sheet. Right. So any questions you have for me or the other characters before we kind of come back from the flashback to now? Okay. Livia, are you in London at the moment, or are you on the road?
I would say that I'm in London at the moment because it's the high tourist season, so it's hard to get a venue. But if you take the risk to rent a pricey place, you can reap probably as much as you make over the rest of the year. So yes.
Well, the interesting thing is that since you saved Valhalla on Earth, it seems like the management is slightly kind of unclear You know, there's always the people work there, but quite who manages it is unclear. And the management currently give you and your stable of wrestlers a discount for booking, so you can. And they've even on one occasion shifted an event so you could wrestle there. So your gym, you have a gym, don't you, in London presumably, that is accessed from the portal on the tour bus. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yes.
Okay, so let's put you at the gym. What do we see you doing at the gym?
So Livia only uses the gym when the privileges of the gym when she needs to prepare for something extra. Because it's always disconnected, because whenever she's on the gym, she's like, it's like she cannot feel the presence of the other members of the weave or their family as they usually do. It's like they are completely, there's way too much divine on everything, every single thing, from the ropes to the towels to even the darkness outside of the lamps. Everything on the gym seems to scream divine. So they are not.
Is Livia more comfortable somewhere else? And if so, where would you like her to be?
No. She is more comfortable with her family, but she's coming to the gym because she feels an unease. It's like, you know, when the weather is changing and the storm is coming, and she goes to the gym because she only trains there when she feels like something big is coming. And it disconnects her from the rest of humanity, but it opens her eyes to the threats that might be coming. And she does not like to do it, but she's pushing herself to do it. And she's going around the arena, practicing some moves, doing calisthenics, as if waiting for something obvious, waiting in a way for the gym to change, to accommodate the future.
I like that. Okay, so we've got that opening shot of Livia in the ring. Sophie, where do you want us to see Sophie for the first time?
I think we see Sophie. I think we see Sophie like in a bar, and she's just like staring into the dark, inky depths of the rum and coke that she's got in front of her.
Is she on a job at the minute?
Yeah, probably.
Do you want to just give me a quick flavor of what you think the current job is?
Probably tailing somebody, surveillance. I'm just trying to think what the purpose of the surveillance would be.
I'll settle for surveillance at this point.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. Astrid, where do we open for Astrid? What do we see Astrid doing in this opening kind of pre-titles sequence?
I think that Astrid is at her day job, which is as a librarian, and that she's kind of in a back room and she's doing some kind of research project and has like a bunch of old books around her, and she's kind of like rotating between them.
And does she prefer to be in the back room sorting through the books, or does she like to do front of house and deal with people?
The back, preferably.
Okay.
Although she can handle it, but it's usually not her thing.
Okay. And finally, before we kind of get into the meat of this, what do we see Dave doing in this opening sequence?
I think we see Dave. It's a night. He's driving his cab, and he has two passengers. One is a guy in a suit. Another is a woman in kind of a normal clothing, casual clothing. And the lawyer, and he's talking to both of them. The lawyer is complaining about people that they should get a push on, and this whole thing is totally crazy. It's not quite clear what they're talking about, but Dave is mostly like, yeah, that's so. He knows people like that. And then suddenly the woman just says, she's worried about bringing back the book because it's late, and look out for this traffic, and there's a car, and she's always worried about the buses and stuff like that. When he's talking to her as well, it might be like he's talking to both of them with his and that's terrible and stuff like that. And then the lawyer guy, he gets out and he just slides out of the car and he slides through this woman, and that's when we notice that the woman is a ghost.
Ah, very good. Very good. Thank you. I think that's an excellent point to take a 5-minute break, so that we can then come back and try to weave the weave together. It's, shall we say 5 to the hour? See you then. Okay. So let me start with Dave. This this ghost in the back of your cab who didn't leave when the or did they also leave when the lawyer?
No, they didn't. They are on the same. I think that the destination can be reached via the lawyer's destination. So,
are you ever curious why the ghosts don't move on to the afterlife?
No, I guess I've never been very curious about that. I mean, I've asked maybe once or twice, but I'm not generally engaging with them on the, why don't you go on? That's not my cup of tea. That's their decision.
So is it a surprise when this woman, the ghost of this woman, engages with you?
No, I mean, some of them kind of seem to understand that they can talk to me and I can hear them. So it's happened before.
And she's clearly upset about something. There are tear tracks down her face. She's dressed in a kind of, as you say, casual but well-heeled middle-class kind of way. And she says to you, I just miss him so much, you know.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't think I want to go anywhere else until I know where he is.
Yeah. Look, lady, I'm a cabbie, not your therapist. You just have to find a way to deal with this, you know?
But nobody else. You can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
You could help me.
Lady, I've got a life. Can't help every ghost that comes my way.
And then you notice somebody else hailing the taxi. Do you pull over and pick them up?
Sure. I mean, I've got to make money. And I say to her, look, lady, I've got to make money. I've got to take this guy. But you can stay in the taxi if you want. Maybe I'll have time for you later. That's okay? Please don't go. Please don't go haunting that guy.
And so you pull over, new fare gets in, and off you drive. Let's go to Sophie. Sophie, you're tailing someone. Do you have an idea about who you're tailing or why? You tell me who, I'll fill in why. If you tell me why, I'll fill in who.
I'm tailing a businessman. The manager of a import-export company.
Okay, import-export. I think you may have been approached by a parent whose daughter has gone missing. And as well as running an import-export business, he has this businessman has a number of interests in terms of freight handling and lorries. And you found a connection between the missing young woman, let's call her Julie Wells. The police report gets as far as identifying that Julie Wells was hitching a lift to the southwest of England, and she got a lift from a driver carrying this a load connected to this businessman's import-export. And so you're following him on the grounds that, to be honest, there aren't very many other leads. The police cleared the driver having done anything unfortunate. He says he dropped her off at Exeter. But that doesn't seem to have satisfied your client, Mrs. Wells. Okay? Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to Astrid. Astrid, you're in the back of the library, and then there's somebody, and a colleague kind of puts her in the corner and says, "Look, I've got to go to the loo. Can you just watch the desk? I know you hate it, but I owe you one, okay?"
And Astrid kind of like shuts the book and looks up and is like, "Fine, just go. I'll be out there in a second." Ties up a little bit and heads out.
Okay. And there's quite a queue. And each of them brings a book back, and you have to stamp it and mark it as, returned. I think I'd quite like you. Would you roll to pierce the veil, please, Astrid?
Sure.
So this is roll 2d6 plus judgment. I don't think I've given you a dice room, have I?
I don't think so.
No, there it is. So let's go to readily credible Gannet.
Well, that's an 11 plus Pierce the Veil is weird.
It's judgment, Pierce.
Oh, judgment. Yeah, I have a 12.
Okay, so because some of these moves do extraordinary things on a 13, don't they? So we must watch for that. So on a 10 plus, ask 3 questions. The reason I asked you to roll is that each of the 4 people return a book that is in some way connected to the southwest of England. So one is walking on Dartmoor. One of them is the sights of Exeter. One of them is a whodunit by a fictional detective based in a kind of fictional southwest. And so you can ask me 3 questions.
Yeah, I'll start with who is responsible for this thing. Like, is there a guiding hand behind these returns?
Yes. This is just the kind of thing that Freya does when she wants to get your attention.
Yep. He's kind of dreading that one. What is the greatest danger? Are there any warnings included in this message?
The 4th book is entitled Myths of Old England, bracket, the Southwest, bracket.
Good. And I think as Astrid is kind of stamping the book, she's kind of like clicking her tongue, and it just gets louder and louder with each one as the signs become clearer. And the last one will be how can I get into this place? Like, do I have a location that's indicated?
Nothing sufficiently specific, but I think there's a simple solution to that, which is Livia is due to do a show in Exeter next week, which is in the southwest.
All right, that sounds like a good place to start.
Okay. So we've fleshed out a bit of Sophie, and we've fleshed out a bit of Dave and a little bit of Astrid. Livia, you're at the gym, and we left you, I think, exercising in the ring. And as you go through your stretches and your rolls, and your and I have to be serious here, my only contact with wrestling is the glorious ladies of wrestling. So I see you perched on one of the side posts and somersaulting off it. Yeah, feel free to add any detail you like. But then there is a kind of laconic from over in the corner of the gym. What do you do?
I sigh and I turn around, already knowing who it is, because there's only one person that could do this.
Surprise, surprise. Do you want to describe Hermes's, mortal disguise?
So Hermes likes to play dress up, but his silhouette is always the same. It's always this tall man on his 50s, teen, but fit and athletic, and always looking down on everyone, half smirk, as if they know something that other people don't know, and they are just dying to reveal to them, but they never do.
And so when you look across and you see that he's carefully placed himself in front of a window where that very silhouette is what you see. And as he turns towards you, he kind of goes, "Nice to see you, Livia."
Hello, Hermes. I wish I could say it was nice to see you, but you never show up when things are nice.
Oh no, this is absolutely not one of those occasions. No, I am here entirely independently, simply to see how you are.
Somehow that makes me even more afraid.
Because I think I read a wrestling bill that you're going to be performing in Exeter in a week or so's time.
Why are you asking? You know that I am.
Oh, well, it's so passé to play that kind of know-it-all thing. So I just was wondering, as you're going to be in the area, whether you could look somebody up for me.
I cannot really say no, so who you were looking for?
Well, it's a lady called Anna Woolacott. Look, between you and me, you'll understand that we don't get a lot of prayer these days. But it turns out that this lady is it's bizarre, really, a direct blood descendant of someone who was rather, important to us in, oh goodness me, in your time, the better part of 2,000 years ago. And so she's frankly been praying to anyone who'd listen to kind of do something for her daughter. And so I thought you could just pop in and see what's going on, as a favor to me.
This seems too much of a small play for you, Hermes. I suppose there is something else beyond this.
No, really, there isn't. I suppose you could be trying to pierce the veil here, or are you trying to trigger another move?
I think it's pierce the veil. Unless, no, I think my other one, I need to be fighting people too.
So I'm very happy to do that, or we can just continue.
No, let's do Pierce the Veil. Let me roll
Fine.
it.
2D plus
Doesn't
judgment.
Yeah. Oh, 3.
A total of 3.
What do you get on the trailer on this game?
You do. I should say that actually you get experience. It's all the way down. They're called threads in this game, and you earn a. Oh no, sorry, it's not. I thought it was. You earn a thread when you roll doubles, or earn a thread when you be epic. Okay, we'll work that one out as we go. Quickstart is thin on guidance of what epic is, but fingers crossed. So the move says on a 6-, ask one question and prepare for the worst.
Okay, let me see the move questions.
It's a very long list, it must be said.
It is a very long list. What is the greatest danger with this person, place, or thing?
Are we talking about Anna Woolacott or who?
Yeah, Anna Woolacott.
Okay. I think what Hermes will say is, look, the reason this is important to us is that, look, frankly, as I say, we don't get a lot of prayer. Or put another way, the prayer that goes on doesn't come to us. Now, because of her blood, we're getting the echo of this. And I think that probably the greatest danger she faces is a difficult choice. And all I can tell you, Livia, is I think that there are some difficult choices in this for you and those barbarian friends of yours. The other reason I've come to you is that, well, we don't have that many people to call on, but you seem to like them. I can't imagine what your mother would say.
I'll take a look into that, but I want to tell you beforehand that I'm not gonna get this woman to do anything that she's not willing to do. Which I guess will not be a problem if she's as despairing as you say.
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine that'll be necessary. Can't imagine that'll be necessary. Thank you. Always grateful for your help, Livia. I know the family is a challenge for you, but really, always grateful. And he's gone in a flash of sunlight. Let's go round. So, yeah, okay, Livia, what do you do with that information?
I guess the first thing that I do is I look around the gym to see if this gymnasium has changed in some way after this conversation with Hermes.
Oh, yeah. All the kind of metal work always shines a little bit more markedly when Hermes has passed through somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The windows have a certain clean glow about them.
So after this revelation, I think I go back and I try to get hold of the other members of the Hive to see if any of them wants to accompany me on a road trip. Okay.
Before we finish then, I want to cut back to Dave at the end of his shift. The ghost has sat patiently in the back of the cab for the last several hours while you've scurried to and from across London. You finally kind of put down the to hire thing flicks in. And you park it up at the garage
No, she said she wanted to go somewhere. I can drive her there.
Oh, you've misunderstood, I think. I can't go anywhere really until I'm certain that he's there waiting for me.
Okay. So you need to be certain that this other guy you're thinking about is dead.
My son, actually.
That's and you want to only move on, lady. Give that kid his own life, right? I mean,
you don't understand. He was lost, and I miss him, and I want to be certain that he's there. The police said all sorts of things, that he'd run away, or but they never found his body.
Oh well, okay. I'd turn around and look at her and say, "Hey, look, if he's not there yet, he's gonna be there. Go on. You can't stay in my taxi."
But as long as I stay here, then perhaps I could find him.
And if
now, what you've discovered with ghosts is that they're sometimes not entirely logical in their view of the world as they see it.
Yeah, I'll say to her, look, I think, and I'm looking her up and down, and I think by your sort of clothing that you're wearing, you're 30 years dead now. He'll probably be that as well. Just go on. He'll be there.
Are you trying to sway her?
Absolutely, I'm trying to sway her.
So roll plus awe.
Well, yeah, I've got a +1. Nice. See, okay, I've got a 7.
So on 7 to 9, they'll do it, but they demand some kind of price.
Okay.
And the price that she wants is, yes, she will go if you will do all you can to make sure that if he's not there already, he can join her.
Sure, yeah, of course I will. What's his name again?
His name is John Collins.
Oh, good. That's a very unique name.
He was 18 when he went missing, and he was doing a Duke of Edinburgh Award trek across Dartmoor. So it would be easy for you to find out.
Yeah, of course. You just go on and I'll take care of the situation.
Thank you so much. And with that, she fades. There's a slight kind of starlight final point that then disappears.
Okay, I think I have a reason. Maybe I go and give that to Sophie. I mean, she's a cop. She don't know what's up with this Collins kid. I mean, I'm not running up to Edinburgh right now.
Livia, you were going to contact the Weave. Is this a good time for Dave's telephone to ring?
I think so. I think Livia knows that they hold strange hours, so probably will not be bothered.
Yeah. Hey, Livia, what's up?
Hey, Grandpa contacted me, and he was going on about, we old pantheons, we don't have worshippers nowadays and whatnot. And you need to go to the southeast of England. There is something there that you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And I figured, well, that sounds like a Weave problem. And I was wondering if you wanted to come with us.
South of England? Sure, why not? I mean, I'm up for a road trip.
Just to specify, southwest of England, which was where David Collins went missing on his trek.
You mean John Collins?
John Collins, I beg your pardon.
Oh, okay. So I say, yeah, South England. It's close to near Dartmoor or anything like that.
First, you said that, yes, it's really near Dartmoor.
Yeah,
That's,
just met a lady whose son went missing over there.
Yeah, I'm also going to see a lady around there. Grandpa has business with her.
Why not? I mean, tourists are boring anyway. It's pretty slow. This kind of what kind of season do we have?
Oh, let's assume that it's getting on for midsummer.
Oh, okay. Tourist season will start soon, but not right now. So yeah.
Also, it's a good time to get out of London.
Yeah, not if you're a cabbie driver, right?
Mm.
But
So,
yeah.
We okay. Livia, who do you ring next?
I guess next will be Sophie.
Still in the bar, Sophie?
Yeah, so I think what Sophie was doing was like maybe somebody said like it's a cliche, but somebody is sitting next to her and sees her staring into her glass and is like, you're not going to find any answers in there, and she's like, oh, you'd be surprised. And I'm gonna use Tracker, which is one of my abilities, to see what this businessman that I'm supposed to be tracking is going to be up to.
So that's 2D plus judgment.
Yep. I'm just going to re-roll the dice for Astrid. So if I can select them. Okay, I can't select them, so I guess I'll just make my own.
I think Astrids have disappeared now. Oh, there they are. Sorry.
No, I just moved them.
Okay.
Okay. So, so that's 7 plus 2. That's 9.
So on 7 to 9, you know where they are right now and where they've been recently. So how does this we've got a special effects budget. How does this oh, I tell you, let's come back to Rob. Let's go to Astrid. Where is Astrid? Because this sounds like it's outside the. Rob, we're going to come back to you in a minute. So Astrid, this sounds like it's outside the working day, end of the cabbie shift. So where do we see Astrid when the phone call from Livia arrives?
So I'm not sure if we even make it to the phone call, because I think Astrid finishes up her shift and gets her bag and all her things, and then we see her outside the back of the library in an alleyway drawing some runes on the wall, and then opens a portal to where Livia is and just steps through.
Great. No, I like that. So you do have to roll for that, don't you? 2d6 plus weird.
Yeah, I have a book. One of my gifts is I have the ritual spell book, and I think it says that I could do it without rolling, but I'm not entirely sure of the interpretation.
What I'm reading is if you have the ritual spellbook, take +1 on portal rolls. Also, you can open portals to unfamiliar places on the mortal plane without needing to roll. To unfamiliar, that seems madness. Shall we make that familiar places? Either that's my typo or it's something very strange in the rules.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I think familiar makes sense.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay, so I'll edit that between now and next week. We'll treat it as familiar. And so, Livia, as you are about to just, flicking through your contacts, just about to hit Astrid. What does this look like on the receiving end, Astrid?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of you're flipping through the Rolodex, and then you notice that one of the walls over there starts glowing, and then like there are some runes that erupt with some light, and then kind of like an oval type portal appears, and Astrid steps out with her bag over her shoulder, wearing a coat, her like long cloak-like coat that she wears basically everywhere.
What do you do, Livia?
Well, Livia cannot hide how this quiet thing this is, and they are always startled whenever something of this kind happens, and she just, of course it's you, Astrid. You got me scared there.
Well, I think you were expecting me, or have you not seen the signs?
Yeah, the signs tend to be quite blunt when they come for me. I think fate's nice like that. They tend to be straightforward. So, Dartmoor, is it?
So it seems. Do you know much about early English folklore?
Nope. I'm ever the foreign on that. I have no idea what madness awaits us.
Been doing some reading, but I'm still not entirely sure. I assume the others will be here soon.
Yeah, I talked already with Dave.
And at that point, we'll cut back to Sophie and her rum and coke. So, Sophie, what does it look like when you activate your tracker? Is this to do with looking at the drink, or is there something else that we're seeing?
So I think she looks into the drink, and she's sort of ringing her finger around the top of the glass, and the liquid swirls into a sort of starlight pattern, which zooms in on the earth and into whatever she's divining.
So yeah, when you're following someone, it's not quite the going from door to doorway to doorway with your collar turned up that might be the traditional way to do this. And so you get a kind of fast forward of, shall we give him a name? What do we want to call him? Any offers? In which case, I'll give him a name. I'll call him Harry Yeager.
Sure.
And Harry is going about, he spends a lot of time in, it turns out the business that he runs is part of a large company called Yeager Enterprises. I need to be careful here in case the real Yeager comes after me, because they are well known for their quality clothing in the UK. So I will be careful. This is a different Yeager Enterprises. And his office is in this larger corporate organization. And you see him in a board meeting where I think I'll even let you see some of the nameplates. And it's a presentation being given by Walter Yeager on how well their paper mill, their Dartmoor paper mill is going. And he's got lots of graphs showing, product is going up and all of this. And then he says, and now I think it's probably just a family conversation. And a number of people get up and leave. And most unusually, your scrying goes dim.
I sort of shake the shake the glass like, okay.
Yeah. What do we do after that, Sophie? Because then the phone call from Livia comes in.
I'll answer the phone. Hey, Livia, what's up?
Hey, I'm here with Astrid. We have been reading the patterns, and it seems like there's something shady happening in Dartmoor. And I was wondering if you wanted, to go on a road trip.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm not even going to be surprised at the time. Okay. I'll see you. I'll see you later.
See you.
Now, it's okay. I'd quite like to have you all now at the gym that evening. Yeah? So what's the nature of the conversation? I dare say there's a degree of blah, of exposition about your various encounters during the day. Off you go.
Anybody ever been to Dartmoor?
Never. And Livia is setting up, snacks to eat while discussing, and it's a lot of chicken. It's really a lot of chicken.
Yeah, I've only read books about it. Apparently, it's supposed to be pretty in kind of a misty, dreary, rainy kind of way.
Sounds like pretty in a British way.
Yes.
Misty, rainy. Yeah, okay. I'll bring my boots. But what I understand here is that there is still some person living currently. Right?
Just clarify that for me.
There's still some person missing now, not in the distant past, whenever John Collins went missing.
Did I get a name for the person I'm looking for?
I think I gave you... oh, no, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Do you want to give him or her a name?
You did. Julie Wells.
I did. You're quite right. Julie Wells. I've just written it in the wrong bit of paper. Okay. Yeah, so Julie Wells went missing last summer. The police inquiries dried up in the autumn, and her parent came to you, Sophie, a month ago. Because it's coming up on the anniversary and she can't stop thinking about it.
Sorry, I thought that was I thought it was a little bit more recent than that. So it's Livia's missing person then. That's more recent.
So John Collins has been missing for the better part of 30 years, because that's how we placed his mother based on her dress.
I mean, that's what Dave said. I have no idea. Maybe Dave lied to her just to get her away to the afterlife. He would do that.
But certainly in terms of the way she was dressed, she looked like a housewife from, the 90s. I was going to say the 70s, but then time flies, doesn't it? Julie Wells went missing after hitchhiking to the southwest and was dropped off by the driver. It was, I guess, okay. She stopped ringing home early last autumn, if you want to bring it a bit more up to date than that. Does that seem fair? What are you going to do?
It seems like we need to go there, kind of read the lay of the land, figure out what's going on here.
Can I look up where the Jaeger paper mill is in that area?
Yes, it's outside the village of Kingsmead in the heart of Dartmoor. It's on the edge of the Dartmoor forest.
All right. So I suggest we start our search in Kingsmead.
Now, Livia, you're on the bill in about 5 days' time, I think, in Exeter, which is a short drive from, well, an hour's drive from Kingsmead.
Yeah, I think we can set up an operation there, and I mean, it's 1 hour's drive, so we can at any moment leave. Hell, we probably can get there faster. It's not like we have a lack of ways to take shortcuts, right, Astrid?
No, that's not a problem.
Dave, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking about making a remark about taking shortcuts with Astrid, but thinking better of it.
So how are you going to get to the southwest then? Because we know we have Livia's tour bus with its built-in portal back here.
I've got a taxi. It has no built-in portal, but it's a taxi.
I think given that Dave does Dave own that taxi or does he lease it? Because if he leases it, there'll be a number of different drivers using it.
No, I think it's his own.
Okay.
It's a black one.
Oh, absolutely. No other kind's worth having. So what's the plan?
Okay, we all get there, meet up in Exeter, and then see what's what.
Okay, then I think we will cut to the tour bus arriving in Exeter. Sophie and Astrid, do you travel on a tour bus or are you making your own way there?
I think Sophie will take a ride in the tour bus.
Astrid?
I mean, you can also come with me in the taxi because it's a taxi. It has space for other people than me.
It's true. I think that I'll ride in the tour bus. That there's a second of hesitation when Dave says that there's room in the taxi, and then stops and then chooses the tour bus.
Yeah, it was a possibility as long as Sophie might have traveled by taxi, but once Sophie went on the bus, yeah, I can see.
Then it's just the two of us there. I don't know what's going to happen there, so I'm just going to not.
Okay. So we'll cut to the tour bus and the taxi pulling up at a slightly down at heel hotel in Exeter, probably a bed and breakfast, an old terraced house that provides theatrical digs and digs for touring wrestling shows. And I'm inclined at that point to call tonight on the grounds that I think that you are now closer to on site. We've got a fairly fleshed out group. And we'll take the investigation forward next time. Is that okay?
Yep.
And normally I run over if I ask for stars and wishes, but now I have time to ask in a leisurely manner for stars and wishes. Shall I start at Rob? Do you want to give us any stars?
I think it's still kind of early, but yeah. Just trying to. Sorry, I've been a bit distracted today with stuff in the house. So.
Well, look, Rob, I'll come back to you last. There's no. Let me go on to Ludo.
I'm lacking points of reference, to be fair. I'm having problems starting. So if anyone has something, the first stone to cast.
Sabine, any stars?
I mean, I like the idea of the game, playing these demigods, and now we're detectives, which is weird but interesting. But these characters all seem interesting, and I'm curious about all of them. But there were no shining moments for now. I think
that's fair.
We'll get there.
Eli, anything from you?
Yeah, I guess I'm more on the wishes side as well, but like just looking forward to seeing how we build out the relationships between these characters and seeing those dynamics play out, I think, is where our drama lies.
Yeah, absolutely. My stars would be, engagement, imaginative solutions. I hadn't thought that we would end up with a Regency wrestling arena as our spindle. But this game is about surprises. So no, I just think I think you've created some interesting characters. Those would be my stars to all of you, and I thank you.
Yeah, I think my star is going to be character creation, because I started with the most bare bone ideas and ended up going places.
Yeah,
I think you have a lot of material to draw upon now. There's a lot of hinted conspiracies going on around. So
yeah, and I'm not feeling any pressure on that at all. Obviously, I think there's an awful lot in this game that generates. Rob, was there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, I did like, particularly with Sabine's character intro, where you basically had the conversation going on, and then revealed, oh, it's a ghost, to bring in that element of supernatural stuff on your own initiative. So that was good.
I have to say, I always think the best initiative is your own initiative. Any wishes for next time? Let me go the other way. Start with Eli.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing the gang in action. That like throwing in some danger and seeing how everyone reacts and watching us bounce off each other.
I will try to find some action for you. Sabine, wishes?
Same, really. I would like to see more of the characters, how they interact, what they do if there's some action going on, and what they do if there isn't. And I'm curious about Dartmoor. I hope you have pictures. If you don't, I can Google them.
Again, no pressure. No pressure. There will be pictures, obviously. There is currently a picture of Exeter. I'm going to build out from there, honest. Ludo, any wishes?
I kind of want more touchdowns. That gonna be recurring elements during the 2 sessions, and I kind of want to see, how to say, we had the mundane part in London this session. We had the supernatural elements on our background. I kind of want to see how things go hog wild on Dartmoor.
I think I can deliver that. Rob, wishes?
I'd like to see if we can expand on some of the tangles that we came up with. I want to find out, specifically for me, what the secret Astrid keeps in their heart is, and the plot against Livia.
I'm very happy for you to prompt me for scenes, one-to-ones, those quiet, heart-searching moments. I'm very, very happy for that. I will probably ask you rather than inserting them. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Just because sometimes I feel bad about just throwing 2 people together on the off chance something good happens. So with that, I will thank you for today. I think we've got a well fleshed out we've got quite a bit of feeling, or I feel I've got a feeling for the supernatural world as it exists, and I'm looking forward to next week. So with that, I will say goodbye to the internet, wave goodbye to the internet, and I will press the end broadcast button.